I'm Dan Bickley along with Mike Turecki. It is Wednesday at the Super Bowl. We've survived Media Day. I don't know about you, but I think the oddest thing to happen to us is when we ran into Rod Graves and his wife on Bourbon Street. Now, collectively, we've been hammering Rod Graves probably for the better part of 10 years. We've called him some nasty things: incompetent, moronic, don't know what you're doing, need to make a change. And then the guy finally gets fired, and then you see him on the street, in Bourbon Street. He couldn't have been more nice. Hi, Mike. Hi, Dan. How are you doing? And then we met his wife, Dreama, and she's like, "Hi, guys. Nice to see you."
And you know what she was thinking?
She's thinking? I'd like to drive a stake through your eye. Screw you, Bickley. I hate you. That's what she's thinking.
Yeah, well, of course, you're right, Dan. For the last 10 years, we've questioned some of Rod's decisions, and of course, when it comes to evaluation of talent, and quite frankly, the last couple of years, as we pointed this out to Cardinal fans, he really hasn't been picking the players. Now, he may be involved in some of the high draft picks and negotiation, more worked on the business side of the football operation versus on the personnel side, and that's the reason the Cardinals decided to part ways with Rod Graves. What's ironic, though, is not only do we see him on Bourbon Street, him and his wife Dreama, he's now working for CBS during the Super Bowl, and he's actually evaluating players and teams.
Now, why would you have a guy evaluating players from the team that just fired him? Obviously, they don't think he can evaluate players, or they wouldn't have fired him. What's CBS Sports thinking?
Well,
although I tell you what, Rod did look good on television.
No, he looks the part. He's obviously articulate. I mean, he's been in the game long enough to know, what people want to hear, so to speak. But you're going to hear from Rod Graves on our show today. He actually breaks down Kevin Cobb.
Really?
And he talks about, you got to play to his strengths. In other words, you have to fit your system to what he does best, i.e. the previous coaching staff. They didn't do that.
Well, if he's the general manager, why didn't he demand that they do something different with Kevin Cobb?
Well, once again, Ken Wisenhunt had final control of the roster and the coaching staff. So, I'm sure that conversation maybe took place at some point in time. But for Rod to say you have to play to Kevin's strengths, you have to adapt the offense to him, now it has me thinking Bruce Arians going to come in and change the offense once again.
Yeah. Can't wait for that to happen. I'll tell you what, here's one thing, though, you do have to keep in mind. I like Steve Keim a lot. My partner's a little skeptical, okay? But it's too easy to say Steve Keim would have done all the right things, like drafting Adrian Peterson and drafting Terrell Suggs and drafting Jay Cutler instead of Matt Leinart. And it's too easy to say that Rod Graves and Ken Wisenhunt did all the bad things. The truth is somewhere in between. So even though I think Steve Keim knows what he's doing, he had a hand, whether it's large or not. He had a hand in some of the worst draft picks we've seen from an NFL team in the past 10, 15 years.
Well, and I'll say this. I mean, I trust Steve Keim a lot more than Rod Graves. I know Steve Keim is on the road. Matter of fact, when the Cardinals are on the road, he will go to a college game in that region and then obviously catch up with the team the following day. So I like the fact that he's been an area scout, he's been a regional scout, he's been the director of scouting, he's also been the director of player personnel. I like the fact that he's paid his dues, and I trust him a lot more than any other guy they had in that building when it came to making personnel decisions.
He's Mike Turecki. I'm Dan Bickley. Check us out on Extra 910 from 2 to 6 p.m. every day.